We're back with Alexandra Kuykendall, and she is talking about her new book, Loving My Actual Christmas, an experiment in relishing the season. You're challenging us throughout this season. I want to talk about this experiment. So you started off with week 1 of Advent. You started this experiment then, and hope and expectation were the first things you focused on. Tell me about that.
Well, in many churches, the first week of Advent, we light what we call the hope candle. In some churches, it's the expectation candle, if you will. And so what does it mean to have hope in a world that can feel hopeless, in a situation where there is no hope? And we know that Advent is the preparation of our hearts for the hope of the world to arrive. And so we're traveling through these. Well, I really grasped onto the word of expectation because I feel like at Christmas, we go in with a lot of expectations, often that we don't even know we have until the disappointment creeps in. So my focus that week was to really verbalize to myself and to God, like, what am I expecting? And then to take it a step further and talk to the people around me and say, these are my expectations. And the big question, what are yours?
Yeah, and also the expectation you have on yourself, right? Because you know, and this is later on, but you talk about, you know, making certain dishes all the time, and these are expectations. We put a lot of this on ourselves as women, especially.
We do, and we get those from all kinds of places, from our childhood, things we want to continue, or the way we want to do things differently than the way we were raised. Commercials even, or Pinterest. I mean, we just get all of these ideas from everywhere. And we absorb them even if we're not consciously absorbing them, and we put them on ourselves.
About hope, how did that help you in processing your stepdad's death as you contemplated on hope?
Well, hope is the certainty of knowing what is bigger, right? And so,
say that again.
The certainty of knowing what is bigger.
That's good.
And so for us, for me as a follower of Christ, I know that He does not change. My hope is in His character. My hope is in who He is. So although my circumstances last year were especially difficult, my circumstances are going to change from year to year, but God's nature does not change. And that's where I found my hope.
And so what is your hope then for this Christmas? Because again, you still have that loss in your life, but it's probably not as fresh, so you're processing it differently.
Right, and we're still molding traditions. We have to modify them because he's not here, and my mom has a free schedule, so how are we incorporating her into our family? And so it is, again, that discussion of expectation with her. What do you want to do this year? What's going to be a fun way for you to celebrate Christmas? For a lot of people, continuing traditions are very difficult when there's been a loss. For other people, they're very important. The only way we know from year to year, because it also can change from year to year, is to talk about it. And those conversations can feel scary because we can feel like, oh, we might have different expectations, and there's going to be a rub there. But Christmas is going to go much better if we have the conversations now rather than on December 24th when we're driving to church and we're mad.
Yeah, the elephant is still in the room. Okay, week 2, love.
Yes.
And celebrating what you're grateful for. I love that. I think sometimes we don't stop to just celebrate that. What are we grateful for at the end of a busy year?
At Christmas, it's really easy to live into what I call the whens and if onlys, which are in the future, right? When we have a bigger house, a bigger budget, if only our family lived closer, then we'd have a Christmas worth remembering or celebrating. And I don't want to miss this year and miss the gifts that God has given me this year. I mean, one thing I did learn in losing someone, and I've had lots of friends my age who have had tragedy, they've lost a spouse or a child unexpectedly, is tomorrow is not promised. So I want to live and enjoy the gifts God has given me this year. Now, my house may not look the way I want it to. My budget may not be what I want it to be. Family relationships may be sticky, but they are what I have. And so I want to be grateful for what I do have.
Oh, our time is running out, Alexandra. The name of the book is Loving My Actual Christmas. What did you learn? What was your big takeaway last Christmas that you're taking into this Christmas?
I think with most things, when you have a perspective shift, you just see the world differently. So when you look for hope, love, joy, and peace in your life, you will see it with fresh eyes.
Thank you again.
Yes, thank you.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.